It's been a while since the last time, so it might not fit. Don't worry, we'll make it work. Just relax. I said this to my ex-wife, whom I thought I had parted with, as she looked worriedly at me. Think it'll fit? It just barely did. Sharing this conversation with my ex-wife, I cherished this happy moment and couldn't help but smile. My name is Matt. I work in IT. Feeling the strain of sitting at a computer every day, I've recently started walking a block to get some exercise. Today, I left work early, and the sky is bathed in the colors of the setting sun. Walking down a quiet main street, I caught a glimpse of my reflection in a shop window. I made a wry smile at my slightly wrinkled suit and checked my hair. There was an empty earrings hole. Maybe it's starting to close up. I really should wear something in it. I smirked. It's not prohibited at work, and I thought maybe I should wear something subtle. Realizing I had finally come to terms with the thought, I laughed at myself. The reason I got earrings. It was because of my wife. No, my ex-wife, Karen, who couldn't wear her wedding ring all the time. She wanted to wear earrings instead. When she said she couldn't wear it, it might be misleading. According to Karen, wearing it on my finger, I might lose it, and it gets dirty, doesn't it? I want to take care of the ring you got me, Matt, she said. So, we decided to wear less tarnishing earrings in place of our wedding rings. Neither Karen or I had ever gotten earrings before, and we both shouted in pain when we did. Together, we continued to wear subtle yellow stone earrings, saying ouch and it hurts. To say it myself might sound boastful, but Karen is stunningly beautiful, kind-hearted, and responsible. We attended the same college, and she even led a club. We dated from our college years, and she's always been there, pulling me along, and that's how I fell for her. After getting jogs, we get married and lived happily for 3 years. To clarify, it's not that we grew to dislike each other and then divorced. The reason for our divorce was, in a way, a difference in values or perspective. To put it simply, intimacy faded. In our 3rd year of marriage, we both settled down at work and I wanted kids soon. Karen said she loved children, and I believed ours would be adorable. But just as I had that thought, Karen began to distance herself from me. I thought it might be an emotional or physical problem on my end, so I initially dismissed it. But when it became clear that she was avoiding intimacy, I decided to talk to Karen. Karen, you've been avoiding me lately. Can you tell me why? Huh? You know, communication shouldn't be one-sided. If I've done something to upset you, I'd like to fix it. At that time, I thought there might be an issue with me. The two of us get along well, and Karen is always sweet to me. So I thought maybe it's a matter of technique. But then, I received an unexpected response from Karen. It's not that you have a problem. Really? Yes, I'm sorry, I should have talked to you. You see, I don't want kids. I felt like I'd been struck by lightning. Maybe it's old-fashioned, but I thought having kids after getting married was the norm. But you like kids, right? You used to volunteer and play with them. I love kids, but I don't want one of my own. I'm sorry. I knew you wanted kids, and I couldn't say it. I thought maybe after we got married, I'd want them, but I just can't. This is my fault too, but we didn't have a proper discussion about the child. I just assumed Karen wanted them too. I know I messed up now, but I didn't think so at the time. I love Karen, of course, but is there a point in a marriage without children? I started to think that it wouldn't be different from just being lovers. We talked about it many times after, but we never saw eye to eye. If we stayed together, I feared we'd grow resentful and end up hating each other. So, wanting to avoid that toxic environment, we divorced. I'm grateful it happened before we started despising each other. But I was lonely. And because of that, I took off the earring I wore with Karen. Along with the ring. The earring hole from before our marriage hasn't fully closed yet. Perhaps because I wore it for so long. It's been a year since our divorce. Maybe it's time to move on. With that thought, I headed to a jewelry store to buy a new piece. Why not a general store? It felt awkward to enter one alone as a man. In a jewelry store, it's easy to pretend I'm buying a gift for a girlfriend, and I thought if I'm going to wear something, it might as well be good quality. Inside the jewelry store, there were sparkling gems everywhere. In one corner, there was an earrings section. I wanted something simple like before, with a stone. While browsing, a sales clerk approached me. "Can I help you find something?" "Oh, yes, I'm looking for a simple earring." "Wait." To my surprise, the sales associate was Karen. She seemed just as shocked. Apparently, she had switched jobs and now works here. "It's been a while." "A year, have you been?" "Oh, you too. Did you change your makeup?" "I adjusted it for work. And you? It seems like you didn't iron your suit. It's all wrinkled." After a long separation and having not spoken since our divorce, Karen and I were able to talk just like before. I had bought a new earring, this time with an orange stone, and glanced at the store's clock. It was exactly 5 p.m. It seemed Karen was just getting off work. "How about dinner? There's a new Italian place nearby." "Oh, I've been curious about that place. Let's go." Karen and I entered the restaurant together. Having been a year since we last met, we spent our time reminiscing about the good old days, talking about work, sharing stories of our blunders. Even though we sat down for dinner, we got so caught up in our conversation that before we knew it, it was pitch dark outside. I really should head home, but to be honest, I feel like there's so much more to talk about. It seemed Karen felt the same as she invited. "Why don't you come over to my place? It's close by." I didn't have a reason to refuse, and it didn't seem like Karen had a new boyfriend. With both of us having the day off tomorrow, I ended up staying at Karen's. Things might have progressed quickly, but considering we spent 3 years of married life together, it just felt natural. We talked until the next day. "So, one of my juniors mistook gravy for coffee. It was hilarious," I burst out laughing. "Haha, why do you even have gravy at work?" It felt good. It was as if we were back in our college days, and it put my heart at ease. This past year, the loneliness I had felt was gone. I realized I still loved Karen. And now, I see how selfish my thinking was back then. "Karen." "Joe, what's up? I know it's late, but I want to apologize to you. If I miss this chance, I might never be able to convey my feelings." I looked straight into Karen's eyes. Karen seemed to have an idea of what I was about to say as she gazed back at me. "I was foolish. I was so obsessed with the idea of having kids that I never considered your feelings. You're the one who would carry and give birth to our child. It'd be a huge responsibility for you, and yet, I never had a proper discussion with you about it. I'm truly sorry." I bowed my head to Karen. Being able to talk to her again made me realize the significance of her presence in my life. At this point, even if we didn't have kids, as long as I can be with Karen again, that's all I want. I also wanted to talk about that, and Matt, I owe you an apology too. I was scared to tell you the real reason I didn't want children. Karen began to speak softly. "You know I have a younger sister, right?" "Yeah, there's quite an age gap between you two, right?" 6 years. When I was 6, I hurt her." The story from when Karen was 6 years old continued. Karen deeply adored her newborn baby sister. One day, when their mom stepped out briefly, the baby began to cry. Back then, I thought she was missing mom and felt lonely. So even though I was told not to, I wanted to comfort her and picked her up. However, a 6-year-old girl can't suddenly carry a 2 or 3-month-old baby. Trying to console her crying sister, Karen tried to imitate how adults hold babies, but during that attempt, she accidentally injured her sister. I lost balance because I was being careful with her wobbly head. She hit her arm against the wall. Thankfully, it wasn't a serious injury, but one wrong move and she might have broken a bone or gotten more hurt. I shouldn't have tried to carry a baby with such a delicate neck, especially at my young age. Seeing her cry continuously because of the pain scared me. I realized how fragile babies truly are. After that incident, Karen developed a trauma towards holding infants. I love kids, but I can't help but fear that I might hurt them again. It was terrifying. As Karen lowered her head and whispered these words, she looked up at me. But something changed in me. In the past year since her divorce, it turns out that Karen's sister, April, had given birth. It was around 6 months ago, and Karen met her nephew. April asked me to hold him, I resisted with all my might. But April said, "You're still haunted by the past, aren't you? I know you love kids. It's okay. As long as you love the child, you won't hurt him, because you're a kind soul." Taking advice from a nurse on how to hold the baby, Karen held her nephew and was captivated by his angelic smile. He was so adorable and delicate. Holding him, I felt how precious a baby truly is, and it reminded me of you, Matt. I did want to have a baby with you. After the divorce, I regretted it. I just listened quietly, deeply respecting Karen for overcoming her long-held trauma. Karen somehow managed to overcome the trauma she had been carrying for so long. What might seem trivial to others was a significant step for her. Knowing she thought of me as she took that step warmed my heart. I know it's presumptuous, but I want to be with you again. I feel the same way. Our eyes met. The time span of a year showed us how much we genuinely cared for each other. I still love Karen, and she still loves me. I want us to be together again. That's what I felt. Haha, I guess. If we're getting back together, I didn't need to buy these earrings. I took out the earrings with orange stone I bought today from my bag. If I'm with Karen, I can wear what I used to every day. Shrugging about its newfound redundancy, she said, "Actually, I bought the same one." What? Karen laughed as she took out the exact earrings. If we're getting remarried, our commemorative earrings should be our second set, right? I couldn't help but laugh. It had been a while since we wore earrings. Come to think of it, Karen was the one who put on my previous earrings. "Hey, put it on for me, please." Karen showed her ear, pleading. I found it endearing and moved closer to her, saying, all right. But it's been so long, it might not fit." "It's okay, everything will be fine. Just relax," I said as I touched Karen's earlobe and put an earring through it. "You think it'll go through?" It was a close call. Really? Glad it wasn't closed up. Now, Karen puts an earring through my ear. The new earrings feel foreign, but they are more than perfect to commemorate our new beginning. Years later, in my arms, there was a tiny life. "Thank you, really, thank you, Karen." "Oh, stop, you are crying too much." After remarrying, we had decided, after discussions, to have a child. Of course, we didn't push it. We just hoped for it. So for the first few years of our marriage, it was just the two of us. Then, this year, Karen's pregnancy was discovered. After a difficult labor, Karen let me hold our daughter. We'll have to take the earrings out for a while. It's risky if she pulls on them. True, the holes might close up this time. Karen, laughing joyfully, gazed at me and our daughter. Seeing her so happy and our daughter's innocent smile, surrounded by the two of them, I feel truly blessed. If they close up, let's get earrings, matching ones with our daughter. Haha, sounds good, but what if she throws them away during her rebellious phase? I turn pale. I can't bear the thought of being rejected by such a cute daughter, but it's a rite of passage for all fathers. However, this I can promise. No matter what, I will protect both of you. I vowed this to my smiling daughter and Karen.